Right now, Gwyneth Paltrow is locked in a legal battle that I think has to be the most unhinged court case I have ever had the privilege of watching live. It's such a blessing. It really feels like this is a parody of the legal system, like it's some kind of old college humor skit about how court works, because I just can't believe this is real. Like watching this Gwyneth Paltrow court case is like experiencing an episode of Psychosis without ever doing any kind of drugs or anything. It's baffling. Before even getting into the actual specifics of it, I just want to lay the groundwork real quick. She's getting sued by someone named Terry over a ski incident that happened in 2016 where Terry's claiming she ran into him and caused a brain injury as well as other injuries and is seeking damages from that. And Gwyneth Paltrow is saying, no, 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 she's wiggling her finger and saying, that's not what happened, Terry hit me. So now she's countersuing for $1. She's looking for $1 in damages as a result of all of this. So already the case itself is delivering on the goofiness, but what elevates this and brings it to a higher level and turns that dial from goofy, blowing all the way past wacky, and even teetering on silly, is the fact that the two lawyers that are representing them feel like they've never practiced law in their entire life. I wouldn't be surprised to learn this is their first case, or that this is all just one big publicity stunt and these are two actors pretending to be lawyers.
This was about 11. She hears, suddenly she sees, and a man comes up right behind her. It's like they begin falling to the right, and he hits down side and his head, and so she's pulling. Now he's like, I know the whole thing. Younger woman, not younger, young. Does that say said? I can't read it.
Now, I know it's not exactly fair to do a little supercut here of his explanation of the situation, but if you just watch the whole thing, it's not much clearer. It really feels like he's trying to recall a nightmare he had after taking NyQuil. Like, he's just trying to recall this dream, and he's not getting it across clearly. Like, even my cat was confused. Like, she came in here and jumped up while I was watching this live, and must have overheard some of his explanation, and then immediately just got the fuck away and went over there, and it's been hanging out ever since. The thing is, like, he's presenting like he's nervous. He is actually delivering his side of the situation like I would deliver a class project back in college, where I'm presenting to the class and I've got the butterflies in my tummy, so I'm fumbling all my words, I can't get any of my thoughts out clearly. Like, it just does seem that he has a problem with public speaking, which I've never really seen from a lawyer before. And it's not like his opposing lawyer, his opponent here, in this legal combat is any better. In fact, she seems like she's just more of a fangirl of Gwyneth Paltrow, and all of her questions are just kind of conversation starters for small talk between them. And keep in mind, this lawyer is representing Terry, so she's supposed to be grilling Gwyneth Paltrow and trying to, like, prove that Terry's the one that's telling the truth and he deserves to win the case. But when I listen to her statements, it really just feels like she's like internally freaking out because she's getting to meet and talk with Gwyneth Paltrow. It's so weird.
Good friends with Taylor Swift?
No.
Relevance? Overruled?
You're not good friends with Taylor Swift.
I would not say we're good friends. We are friendly. I've taken my kids to one of her concerts before, but we don't talk very often.
You've never given Miss Swift personal, intimate gifts for Christmas.
Your Honor. Relevance, or I
Explained
would
as
like
to
a
relevance.
bench trial.
Well, she's just said that she wasn't friends with her, so I'm inquiring on that.
I was half expecting this lawyer to then turn around and say, if you give me some free Taylor Swift tickets, I'll go ahead and drop this whole case right now and throw Terry to the fucking wolves here. Like, these interactions don't lead to anything. I tried to get the context on what the fuck the thought process here even was with bringing up Taylor Swift out of the blue. And it's apparently because Taylor Swift also did some kind of lawsuit for like $1 in damages as a countersuit back in like 2017 or some shit. But it's still completely irrelevant to the whole case here. It doesn't really serve a purpose to try and establish a connection between Gwyneth Paltrow and Taylor Swift, because that has nothing to do with getting to the bottom of this ski incident and who's at fault and who should be awarded the damages. Now, while we don't know who's fully at fault for the ski incident right now, I do know that you're at fault for bad fashion choices if you decide to miss out on the new Moist Global Swamp Core line. It's our new swamp wear, very Duck Dynasty-esque, beautiful garbs. Every time the lawyers ask questions, it just reminds me of that scene from Godzilla 2014 where he says, "Let them fight," referring to the kaijus. But instead of it being giant monsters here, it's giant fucking weirdos. Everyone involved in this case is weird. You all know I'm not a big fan of Gwyneth Paltrow and Goop in particular. I think Goop is downright dangerous at times and at best extremely stupid. In fact, I'm surprised she hasn't gone to trial for her scam of a candle, "This Smells Like My Vagina." I made a whole review on that candle, and I promise you, no vagina has ever smelled like that candle. It was fraudulent. It was misleading advertisement. It was completely false. It did not smell like her vagina, and I'm very confident. In fact, I might even go for a lawsuit to see if they can put Gwyneth Paltrow's pussy on the stand so we can all smell it and compare it to her candle, but that's a can of worms for a different day. Point is, I'm not a Gwyneth Paltrow fan, and Terry went on the stand today, and after hearing him, I'm certainly not a Terry fan. I don't know who's at fault here. Gwyneth Paltrow moves around and acts like an evil rich supervillain, so I definitely do think there's a chance that she is the one that just blasted Terry because she's not good at skiing and then had no empathy and left him there. That's super possible, but I also think it's equally possible that Terry is a shitty skier and a pathological liar who has been chasing this potential bag for 7 years, because originally he was seeking $3.1 million in damages, but it got thrown out due to them ruling it wasn't a hit and run, so he came back and is doing it again, but this time for a lower amount of $300,000 in damages. So it really feels like both people are fucking weird. But before showing you Terry, I want to show you one more best of moment from Gwyneth Paltrow's lawyer, who tries to see if they can bring in treats for the bailiffs.
This private security for my client wanted to bring in treats for the bailiffs for how helpful they've been. So I wanted to do that transparently and see if there are any objections.
We object. Okay. There's an objection.
Okay, so I will let them know.
Let them know thank you, but no thank you.
I mean, he should have asked us first, frankly.
It hasn't been done.
I know, he should have asked us first. We could talk about it, but he just sprung it on us now. So we object.
What'd you find out about the jury?
This guy actually feels like a camp counselor and they're on a school field trip or something. Like, holy shit. So the treats were shot down. They put the kibosh on that. But they were open to negotiate. In fact, they get into a little bit of a tiff, a slight argument about, well, if you had only, asked us before and discussed it, I mean, maybe we could have all had treats together, maybe even a little pizza party. I mean, you didn't really give us notice. You sprung it up out of nowhere. You ambushed us with it. So, nope, not anymore. Now none of us get to enjoy any of these baked goods.
You were asked about the press conference and referring to Miss Paltrow as King Kong. Were you referring to her as King Kong or the noise that you heard?
That's leading, Your Honor.
What did King Kong refer to?
I got to watch this whole segment unfold live, and my god, what a treat. So right now the line of questioning is about King Kong and explaining why he said King Kong. And this is Terry's response.
My apologies to Ms. Paltrow, because my intention got twisted up in my intentions and was to say sounded like a lady getting chased by King Kong out of the jungle. It was that kind of I'm really scared.
He clarifies that the sound he was hearing reminded him of a woman being chased by King Kong out of the jungle. So that cleared all of that up, luckily. Another question that I feel gets pretty much fucking nowhere.
There was some testimony from Miss Paltrow again that she was hit in the back by a very large man, or that there was a very large man. Could you just step down for just a moment? Terry, do you... No, right here. Right here. Do you consider yourself a very large man?
Many times I wish I was, but no. Definitely on the small side of most people.
Finally, real evidence to poke holes in Gwyneth Paltrow's story. She said, apparently, that she was hit from behind by a large man. So, in order to prove that this is a false claim, she brings Terry out to just embarrass him, like, he is not a large man, this is a small man. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is a manlet. It just puts him on blast like that. Terry, my brother, I am also on the small side. I'm 5'6". If someone called me out to prove a point that there's no way this whole case is real because Charlie is too fucking short to fit this definition, he's too much of a goddamn hobbit for this to be true, I would have just said, it's not worth it, please. The shame is too much for me to bear. Just let that claim be accurate. Let the large man claim stick. That's fine. We can fight on every other point. Please let the large man stay in the record as truthful. Don't fucking have the jury point and laugh at me because I'm short. Like, good lord, this was... I mean, I understand what the thought process was here, like, trying to prove that, you know, she can't be a reliable source of information since she says it was a large man that hit her and Terry's not that big, but I mean, holy shit, it's still a wild thing to watch unfold like this.
You've been here for a number of days, you've heard all the doctors testify, your entire life has now been broadcast to the world.
I feel like I've been fleshed out, and anyone up here I think would feel the same way.
Very
painful.
In fact, I think you just told me back there, well, I could never go on another dating site again.
Objection! Terry can go on any dating site he wants. Sustained. Again, this is just simply a line of questioning maybe I'm too dumb to understand. What does this have to do with anything? It's a public trial, so of course, on both sides, a ton of information is going to come to light to the public. So, I'm unsure of where this was supposed to lead. Maybe it was supposed to make people feel, like, bad for Terry, like, on the stand, like, oh man, you know, this guy, he's had his whole life laid out in front of everyone now, you know. I guess? I'm not really sure, but it just doesn't really seem super pertinent to the actual issue here.
Yeah, I'm classifying it as an insult, but it's absolutely ignoring me, ignorance. And that's what it felt like. It's like, what is going on here? This is obviously an issue that someone needs to be accountable for. And if they're never accountable, what are they going to do? They're going to do it again. Now we have the molesting of young children on an island.
Your Honor,
denial.
This is ridiculous testimony. He's talking about...
Sustained as to relevance, the last part, the jury should disregard.
Now you can see things going a little off the rails here. So the question that brought this section up was, is the lawsuit important to you? Which again is one of those fucking galaxy brain questions, those chess master moves I can't quite process, because fucking obviously the lawsuit's important. He's been pursuing it for years now. I mean, Jesus Christ, clearly it's important. And it led to this situation where he's saying, if he doesn't do something, it's just going to happen again, and then it leads to the molesting of children on an island. So that's a lot to take in right there. That's a lot to digest. I think he's talking about the Epstein Island and the Epstein book. I don't know if Gwyneth Paltrow's name was in Epstein's flight logs on his lists, but I certainly wouldn't be surprised if it was. Half of Hollywood was taking trips to Epstein's Island. Bunch of goddamn evil freaks. But I don't understand exactly how we got to that point in this case here. And I also like the statement preceding it that if he didn't sue Gwyneth Paltrow for this, she'd do it again. As if like she's just this absolutely rambunctious villain on the slopes out there that is constantly running into people out there like a fucking pinball. Just actually bulldozing everyone she can, and it's up to Terry to stop her. Put an end to her reign of tyranny on those slopes because she just keeps hitting people. It's as you can see, this whole case, this whole trial is wild.
You've said you shrunk and lost weight since the incident, right?
Well, I ballooned.
Now, when we stand you up You've lost like 15 pounds and shrunk 3 inches, right?
I had
Yes or no?
I had no idea. I guess yes. I was
Just a few days ago, you said I was 175 to 80 and 5'8". Remember?
I said that not here. Oh, you know what?
In this very trial.
Overruled.
I know why I said that. It's because the VA records weighs you with all your clothes and everything on it. And I knew that's what you were reading, was what
Clothes
the VA
don't
reported.
give you 3 inches. You with me?
Heels do.
Did you have heels on?
No, not at all.
All right.
Now the tables have turned again. Phoenix Wright is back, and he's grilling him on a potential lie here, stating that he had said that he was heavier and taller than he actually is, and says that you stated that you were 5'8", but as we've seen today, you're closer to 5'5". How did you lose 3 inches so quickly? That doesn't make any sense. It's not like you set the height setting from wumbo to mini, so what the fuck is going on here? This seems like a lie. And that's kind of the line of question he's going down. The whole thing is just such a weird trial. Like, I feel like half the time they're not even focused on the actual skiing incident. It just goes in all of these completely different directions that you'll never see coming. These plot twists in this trial are wild. And I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because I got to watch a good chunk of it today. And it's something special. So yeah, I just wanted to go over it a little bit. That's about it. See ya.